Hello and welcome back to another Warlords of Draenor video. So this time we're going to be in Tanaris, and you're probably wondering, hey, that's a bit strange, it's the beta, why are we in Tanaris? Well, that's because of the infinite dragonflight. Now this dude was already here, so he's not really special, but a few more guys who are level 90 have been added. We've got an infinite vanguard sitting here, 74,000 health, that's, new Warlords mob. You can tell, like, his health scaled right, and yeah, Warlords mob. There's also a whole bunch of these infinite whelplings spread around the place. I think there's 7 mobs in total that have been added. These are actually battle pets. These ones are level 14. I think they're already available in the game somewhere, though. But anyway, this stuff has randomly popped up. Now, this could be one of many things. It could be the developers having a cheeky wee dick with us and trying to mess us about and, pull strings, a bit like the whole Caverns 2 Electric Boogaloo charade that went on during the some of the patch 5.4 updates. I think it was 5.4.7 that the Caverns Electric Boogaloo data mining joke was played. Though apparently they were actually going to put Caverns in for an end event, but I digress. So we found a whole bunch of these little infinite duders chilling out in the Caverns of Time. Now, what could all this stuff mean? Well, first of all, as I'm sure many of you are aware, Kairos Dormu is heavily involved in the story of Warlords of Draenor, or at least, he's heavily involved in how we get there. If you're not aware of that story, then you can totally check it out on yesterday's video, in which I covered essentially just what leads us up to Warlords of Draenor. But TLDR, Kairos kind of hinted to him being a little bit of an infinite dragon, or at least sympathizing in that way. He said that he could get infinite hordes, infinite iron hordes with Garrosh, and they could conquer Azeroth and infinite worlds and all that lovely bollocks. Basically, Kairos was going to be doing some time hijinks and abusing time in the way that the infinite dragons sort of do. Now, it is totally possible that what Kairos actually wanted to do was just bring a whole bunch of these infinite hordes onto our Azeroth so that he could protect it along with Rathian against our own Burning Legion, but honestly, I think he's just a bit of an infinite dragon, or at least he's sort of fallen to that. But what's really weird to me is that, despite Kairos being an infinite dragon, I mean, the Caverns of Time was never touched by him, at least as far as we know. And of course, this also plays back into the fact that one of the visions of time that we got from the Hourglass of Time was of Sora Dormi being killed in the Caverns of Time by Kairos, who we now know has some sort of infinite dragon allegiance. So now in the Warlords of Draenor beta, we see infinite dragons pop up here, but, and this is the weird thing, but Kairos is already on Draenor, and look, spoiler warning here, I mean, come on, this was going to be a spoilery video. Kairos is dead. He was stabbed in the back with shards of the Hourglass by Garrosh. So obviously that vision about him killing Sora Dormi isn't true, but as we know from the Vision of Time, they're not necessarily truths, they're more possible truths. So perhaps it's actually possible that what could happen is that instead of Kairos being the one who kills Sora Dormi, it's actually some sort of infinite dragon agents that are going to be chilling out here. I wonder, they did say recently that they're not really planning on doing too many time travel expansions, and for the most part, they only want time travel to be a way to find something cool like the Iron Horde and bring it into our relevant timeline. I don't think they ever want to do, for an example, something like the Well of Eternity books. They never want to do that as our main expansion story. So it's very interesting, really, how this is all going to happen. I could certainly see some sort of plot line where these Infinite Vanguard people end up killing Sora Dormi, and then that drives, Morazond. Well, crap, what's his name? Oh, I've forgotten his name. Bronze Dragon leader dude who turns into Morazond, who was rather unfortunately played by Martin Sheen, who... Look, Martin Sheen's voice doesn't suit a dragon, but I still love Martin Sheen. Anyway, so yeah, some weird stuff could happen. How does this tie into Warlords of Draenor lore? I just don't know, honestly, because the story of that this expansion even, is on Draenor. We are technically stranded out there. This is of no relevance. The infinite dragonflight are not our enemy, and I suppose if Kairos Dormu was a part of some sort of infinite dragonflight plot, well, Garrosh would have cut that off when he, stabbed him in the back and killed him. So, we just don't know how this is going to pan out. If you guys have got any interesting theories, I would absolutely love to hear them in the comments. I suppose maybe this could be them testing out some content that could lead into the expansion after this, but again, you know, we dealt with Infinite Dragon stuff in the end of Cataclysm. We dealt with the time travel, well, you know, the Timeless Isle in Pandaria. We are time traveling in Warlords of Draenor. I don't think they're going to do an Infinite Dragon storyline. Now, what I think that is, you know, this may be possible, is that if they are planning on doing some sort of Time Walker dungeon or something like that, they could maybe stick that into the Caverns of Time or do something like that. Because if this Time Walker faction is corrupt, then it could lead to some really interesting stories. Obviously, Kairos Dormu was one of the big Time Walker dudes, and the Time Walkers were just that faction of bronze dragons who were trying to get all the power back. So if this does point to the Time Walkers as a whole being corrupt, and these Vanguard people being something to do with the Time Walkers, then we could get some sort of subplot going on. Maybe what we could have in Warlords, if they were going to do a mid-tier, you know, raid, is there could be some sort of Infinite Dragon raid. Maybe. I don't know how they'd fit that into the lore. I think it might end up being pretty weird, but I don't know. I'm spewing random crap right now because I don't know what to make of this. Hopefully one of you guys does, but that's really all that I can muster for this video. If someone brings up a really cool theory, then I might feature it in a future video or something like that, because it could be really cool. Anyway, that's about it for me. Interesting stuff happening in the beta. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.